You're on the record here on CNN Philippines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Do you still remember a tourism ad that says, when the gods created the Philippine Islands, they liked it so much that they created 7,000 more, perhaps among them Boracay. But now a statement from no less than President Duterte put the spotlight on the island for its environment problems. Our Angelo Mario takes us to Boracay.
All it took was a warning from the president. Clean up the island or I'll shut it down. Authorities must now meet a 6-month deadline to fix Boracay's pollution problems. Now, this alarmed business organizations and residents of the island. Hotels and resorts started getting calls from guests who have made bookings asking if Boracay is still open or is it still safe for tourists. Now, despite the impact of the president's threat, the businesses welcome it as government agencies will now have the urgency to do their jobs properly. When we got here, the local government of Malay has stepped up efforts against violators, especially for establishments illegally connected to the drainage line. They say they don't want another incident of black wastewater from a drainage pipe flowing out into Boracay's waters. Tourists back the president's move, saying the island badly needs to heal. It's a paradise that they hate to see deteriorate. But some oppose threats to close down the island like residents who are trying to make a living here. They say it's them who will suffer the most. The president's words serve as a bitter wake-up call for officials, for the entire community, and even for tourists, who must also take responsibility in keeping this jewel of an island pristine. Angelo Mario, CNN Philippines, Boracay.
Joining us in tonight's On the Record, Ricky Alegre, Tourism Assistant Secretary, and our two other guests joining us via Skype video call, DNR Undersecretary for Policy, Planning and International Affairs, Jonas Leones, and from Boracay, Pia Miraflores of the Boracay Foundation. She is Executive Director. Let's begin with you, Assistant Secretary Alegre. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you,
We
Pia.
begin with the, you had a meeting yesterday, the Tourism Department, DNR, DILG, the Interagency Task Force on Boracay. Can you update us about what was discussed?
Yesterday, Secretary Juan Dateo hosted a meeting. This is part of the orders of the President for the three agencies, DOT, DILG, and DNR, to get to work to save and rehabilitate and sustain Boracay. Each one had a presentation. The DOT presented records on effects of tourism arrivals from the day that it was announced that we will rehabilitate Boracay. DNR also presented their 3 phases of work that will be done in the next 6 months, which includes dismantling of illegal structures, sending out show cause orders to those who have not connected to the STP, the sewage treatment plant, and the overall identification of areas that properties that were built on wetland, forest land, and they presented pictures of what it used to be when it was available, the wetland and the forest land, and now with illegal structures.
All right.
DILG also presented one of the proposals, which is to declare a state of calamity.
The effect of which is?
The effect of which is, well, it was supposed to allow everybody that's helping to work and rehabilitate Boracay to move faster. It will also allow us a chance to be able to get equipment and disburse funds easier so that the project can be done faster.
Bawasan ng red tape para bilis ang galaw ng mga tao. At the same time, a state of calamity will mean closure.
There's a proposal for a closure for 60 days. Today, Secretary Wanda met with the stakeholders of the industry, the tourism industry, and after discussing these issues with them, they're very much concerned about Boracay, and they actually recommended if we do it, it will better be done sometime in June during the low season.
Right.
Let this
tapos na yung summer vacation.
Yes.
Okay.
Because this is a peak season starting now up to May.
Okay, so this is the first time we're hearing this. What you're saying is that there is a proposal on the table brought forth by the DILG in this interagency task force that is talking about a closure for 60 days of Boracay. Well, as long the stakeholders are saying pwede ba sa June na lang. So
Yes.
if they had not said June, we are thinking of an even earlier date because it's only February 20.
Actually, technically, DNR told us yesterday that the month that they were thinking of is in June also.
June. Okay.
So that sort of connects, no?
So parang ang pinag-iisipan nyo lang kasi is marami kasing nasa Boracay for summer vacation. Parang let people enjoy for the last time. Ganon?
In fact, the records are showing us to us now that the arrivals are increasing, despite cancellations in 12 hotels, about 60 room cancellations. The cancellation, by the way, the biggest is from a regatta event that was already canceled way back before this whole Boracay cleanup.
Before the president threatened to shut
Yes,
down the
and
island.
the rest is they're pushing through. In fact, the flights are going on, and the numbers are still increasing. You know that we had about almost 900,000 foreign visitors in Boracay last year, and that's a total of 2 million total, including local.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you look
So
at
we're
it,
saying,
yeah.
sir, what we're saying here is pumapayag ang stakeholders. When we say stakeholders, we're talking of
Well, these are the ones, the tour operators, the travel agencies. This is their recommendation earlier
Okay.
to Secretary Wanda that if
ba doon yung resorts, the hotels?
no, this is a different sector. This is just the one that bring in the tourists from abroad.
How would we're going to be speaking to Pia Miraflores of the Boracay Foundation in just a bit, but from what you know, in all your discussions with them, how would they react when they're told that, there is this proposal on the table, 60-day closure,
Yeah.
possibly in June?
I think the important thing that we mentioned yesterday is that we're going to come up with a massive communication plan, not just for local consumption, but for global consumption, to explain to everybody that why we are doing this to Boracay. Remember, Pia, the important thing to remember here is that we want a long-term solution.
Right.
It can no longer be
hindi pwedeng
stopgap
band-aid,
measures. No more.
stopgap.
The President has given the orders, and we intend to implement the orders. And if it requires even the idea of closing portions of the beach, not the entire stretch, but we can also close for a while this section for a couple of months, let it recover, and then we open the other one for swimming. And then when it has recovered, we go back to the closed area. These are many of the suggestions coming up. And
Right.
I hope
But
the local
stakeholders. Right now, wala pa rin.
Wala pa, but
Agreement.
lumalabas na ang suggestions. And we're glad that even the stakeholders and the local stakeholders are giving also their suggestions how to address this.
Okay. Can we say na naghihingalot talaga ang Boracay?
The carrying capacity is about 40,000. It now does 54,000. And remember,
day?
In a day.
Okay.
And remember, Pia, the other problem really is that the day population is so high, and it even gets higher at night. Because there are residents there that shouldn't be staying there at night. Some workers in the facilities there stay there as well. Where do they stay? I don't know. Secretary Simato in the congressional hearing 3 weeks ago said there are about 6,000 families that have illegally stayed in
Informal
forest,
settlers, huh?
informal settlers in areas
In
that
other words,
should not be should
Areas
be
that should
construction.
not be constructed on like
Like the forest land.
forest land. Okay. And these are not locals of Boracay. Kumbaga,
They're no
they came
longer
from the mainland,
locals.
no?
The story, Pia, is that when there was a construction boom, the workers came, brought their families, and made it their residence.
All right, we'll have to take a short break. Later, we see netizens sharing their thoughts on saving and cleaning up Boracay. We'll read some of the comments from social media when On the Record returns. Stay tuned. This is On the Record. This is On the Record on CNN Philippines. President Duterte issues a strong warning he will shut down the famous white sand island destination Boracay to protect the health of millions of residents and visitors. He's the president in his own words.
Nandoon na sa dagat mismo, which is not really allowed. And you allowed buildings to be constructed without the proper sewer or sewerage. Inyo yan eh. Now you're overzealous about, we should be a part. Kayo, look, pag ako ang I will charge you for serious neglect of duty, making Boracay a fish pond or a sewer pool. Kayo yan dyan. Makita mo Boracay maganda sa malayo. You swim in Boracay and you stink with Ganon yan.
Still with us, Ricky Alegre, Tourism Assistant Secretary, and also joining us now via Skype, DNR Undersecretary Jonas Leones and Pia Miraflores in Boracay of the Boracay Foundation. She is Executive Director. Let's begin with Yusek Leones of the DNR. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Pia.
Yeah, sir, can you just confirm that interagency task force meeting on Boracay yesterday? How does the DNR see this proposal of the DILG for a state of calamity declaration, which will in effect close down Boracay at least for the start for 60 days?
Yes, I think it's possible. It was discussed yesterday, Pia, and ASEC was also there when the INF Secretary Anyo proposed that maybe we can implement a 60-day state of declaration, state of calamity in the island, so that we can easily access funds. We can at least implement activities without, of course, following some procurement procedures. So we can easily solve the problem in Boracay if the president will declare a state of calamity in the island.
All right. Also, among those activities, earlier, ASEC Alegre was saying, for example, laying of bigger pipes, for example, for the sewage system. That means you'll be moving people out, for example. You'll be dismantling illegal structures also?
Yeah. In fact, there's no conflict with the proposal of Secretary Anyo and Secretary Simato. Secretary Anyo was proposing to dismantle those structures that are illegally established without permits or agreements or permission, DOT and DNR. In the case of DNR issuance of notice of violations, we are doing this for those establishments that secure permits from us. Like, for example, an establishment which we issued ECC, we're looking at the possible violations of the establishment. That's why, as a part of the due process, we need to issue notice of violations. But for those for those infrastructure or hotels that were established beforehand, for example, without any agreement or permit, the INP believes that they can already dismantle it without asking what they're dead forest land.
All right. I wonder if we can continue speaking to Yusek Leones. Are we okay? Continue. Okay. Let's fix that audio problem we have with Yusek Leones. Yusek Leones, of course, confirming that there is that proposal for a declaration of a state calamity, which will, in effect, close down Boracay for 60 days. Again, I repeat, as ASEC Alegre of the DOT and Yusek Leones of DNR saying this is just a proposal that was discussed at the Interagency Council meeting yesterday, the Interagency Task Force. Now, let's go to Pia Miraflores of the Boracay Foundation. Pia, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Pia, and Yusek Leones and ASEC Alegre.
Yes, can you react first, Pia, to this proposal that was discussed yesterday? This was a proposal made by the DILG for a declaration of a state calamity, and the effect then would be a closure of 60 days. Now, earlier, ASEC Alegre was saying that, for example, tour operators were saying that if you really are going to do that, can you do that in June? So meaning after the summer vacation months. Now, how does the Boracay Foundation and your members look at this?
Actually, it's the first time that we've heard of this proposal. This afternoon, I've heard from one of our stakeholders that DOT has spoken with the travel operators regarding this. I know that there are proposals to call a state of calamity in Boracay. Just under normal circumstances, the the releasing of funds for infrastructure is really very slow, just like what happened here. So with that, I think that would be aspect of calling a state of calamity. It would really help fast track that. But regarding the we haven't really discussed with our members, but certainly the proposal of closing just a certain area or certain areas of the island that's affected, that would probably be a better option compared to closing the entire island, because in a certain percentage of the island is affected by the leasing of sewer water. If you look at the 4 kilometer stretch of the White Beach, it's still the sand is still powdery, soft and white, and the water is still crystal clear. So it's just a certain portion of the river.
All right. Well, listening to Pia Miraflores of the Boracay Foundation, I'm going to try and summarize what she's saying. We had a bit of an audio difficulty there. That was a cesspool of communications. But anyway, so Pia is saying, Asik Alegre and Yusek Leones, who's joining us also via Skype, that okay lang ang state of calamity, pero yung closure baka pwedeng area by area. No? Is that the idea? Or are we talking about a closure of 60 days for the entire island?
Remember, Pia, the government wants to work with the private sector on this. Everybody has a stake. We're willing to listen, and we're consulting. In fact, next week, the Senate is conducting a hearing together with the Secretaries of Tourism, Secretary Teo, Secretary Simatu, Secretary Anyo. We're going to even bring Secretary Villar and Secretary Aguirre, including DOJ and DPWH, because the government really feels, and the President says this, we need to work on this together. Secretary Wanda Teo was saying, please help us resolve this. And we're glad that the foundation took this initial reaction positively, because we know at the end of the day, we are looking to save and sustain Boracay for the future generations. So it's a step, one step backward, two steps forward. Secretary Teo also said, if we must swallow the bitter pill, we swallow it now. If we were to save
Let's not wait for later,
Boracay.
no?
Let's not wait for it. And this might be our only chance, Pia, because there's such strong political will to fix Boracay.
Okay. Well, let's go back to Pia Miraflores in Boracay, or the Boracay Foundation. Can we talk to her now again?
Hello?
Yes. Pia, okay. Do you have, given that proposal, still a proposal, nothing final yet, but a state of calamity declaration, a closure, perhaps as Asik Alegre was saying, pwede namang pag-usapan, no? Kung is yung buong island or sections muna, section by section, no? Ano ba meron ba kayong plan B na? Have you laid out plans as to how you can still, well, how are you going to live with this kind of a state of calamity and closure, even partial closure?
As I've said earlier, this is actually the first time that we've heard that we're planning to close the island for by June or certain parts of the island. So we haven't really discussed it. But for me, I would say that the best thing is to rehabilitate just certain areas of Boracay, those problematic areas. Because Boracay, it has, of course, it has its problem. Fortunately, because it is Boracay that is under national scrutiny, so everyone's eyes are on Boracay right now. But rather than calling the entire island as a problematic island, since tourism growth of the island was not foreseen for several years back, no one ever anticipated that it would grow. Like 2007, only 908,000 tourists, and now we have 2.001 million tourists. So I guess what we need right now is convergence among the national agencies and the local government The call of it's an answer prayer.
All right. Yeah, Pia. Okay, Pia, we're going to get back to you in just a bit. We just need to take a short break. This is On the Record. This is On the Record. Let's go back briefly all right, let's read first netizens' comments. Tonight, this Twitter user wants to limit establishments or putting up of structures in Boracay. He suggests putting up a water treatment plant. Another one says structures destroying the natural beauty of the island. Amid all the mess, this netizen wonders what the environment fee is for. For more on this story, visit our website, cnnphilippines.com, or follow us on social media at CNN Philippines. Let's speak briefly to USEC Jonas Leones, who's joining us from DNR. Sir, can you please tell us lang po, are you able to share with us now that list of 51 establishments that were served notices of violation?
Actually, Pia, yung 51 natin since last February 15. But as of now, the DNR has already issued notice of violation to 81 establishments and show cause orders to forest land illegal occupants and those occupying within the 20-30 meter limit from the shoreline of shore beaches.
So 81 notices of violations issued to all these establishments. Can you tell us, off the top of your head, name some of these establishments?
Actually, I have the list, but then based on our legal advisors, we will be withholding first the list of names of those hotels because we have just issued the notice of violation and we have yet to hear from them.
Yeah, and USEC, I wanted to ask also, you brought in teams from different regions, no, ng DNR. Are you saying hindi sapat yung nasa Region 6 or you need more help from outside? Why not just use Region 6?
Kasi yung deadline na binigay sa atin ng Presidente is only 6 months. So we are afraid that if we will not augment our manpower there in Region 6, we might not be able to comply with the directive of the President to at least resolve the problem in Boracay. So we need some...
Yeah, you think you can do this after the President threatened closure, no? Shutting down. All right. Well, thank you very much, USEC Jonas Leones of the DNR. Asik Alegre, Ricky Alegre of DOT, your final words, sir?
Again, look at the long-term solution. Let us save and sustain Boracay for future generations to enjoy the paradise feel of the island. We need everybody's help. Please help us #Save Boracay.
ASEC Ricky Alegre of the DOT, thank you, sir, for joining us. Also, thank you to Pia Miraflores of the Boracay Foundation and to USEC Jonas Leones of the DNR. And thank you. That is it for tonight. Thank you for your time. See you again here on The Record next Thursday.